Team, how are we? Excellent. Okay. If you remember last week's video, we talked about our team shape. In this week's video, we're going to specifically focus in on the central back position, or the central backs, the left central back, the right central back, and the centre back. All right? We're going to specifically look at that position, or those three positions. But before we do that, let's quickly review what we went, the important points from the last video, which was our team shape video. All right. Now, I'm sure you remember our team shape. We have three positional lines, which are the three defenders, or the three centre backs, the three midfielders, and of course the two forwards. All right. And then we also discussed the importance of keeping a certain space between each of those lines. Do you remember what that certain space was? It was the length of a school bus. Perfect. All right, so roughly the length of a school bus separates each one of those three lines. So the midfield is roughly one school bus behind the forwards, and the centre backs are roughly one school bus behind the midfield. Okay, and we move up. We move up together and back together. And we also move to the right together and to the left together. And in fact, that is our first point, or the first key point to playing that centre back position. Now, when I say centre back, I'm sort of referring to all three backs, the right, the left, and the centre back. Okay, those central back positions. Now, it's really, really important that we maintain that shape as we move up the field on the attack. Because, for example, this sometimes happens, and this is okay because we're just learning this shape. Sometimes the mids and the forwards are right up on the attack looking to score a goal. And then I sort of glance back to the goalkeeper, and we might have two or three of our backs all the way back here. All right? They're about a 747 jumbo jet behind, like a huge distance behind, not just a school bus. Okay, we need to be a school bus, and the reason that is important is, let's say this left midfielder has maybe two or even three defenders applying like immense pressure, and that midfielder is like, well, my best option here is to try and shield the ball with my body, turn around, shield the ball, face back to my own goal, and look for a pass back. All right, we do that a lot at training, those back passes, and I want to start seeing a bit more of that in the games. We're starting to see it a little bit, but a little bit more. But this mid doesn't have a back pass option if these backs are all the way back with the goalkeeper. So that's why that's really important, to just move up and move back as a team. We're like a giant jellyfish with all those tentacles. And let's say the ball is like sort of the head or the brain of the jellyfish. And then as the ball moves forward, all the tentacles come with. They all follow along, okay? They all follow along. And that's because it's important, because if we all stay in that shape, we always know that if we turn to the turn back and face back towards our own goal, there's going to be a passing option back there, all right? There's going to be someone back there, all right? So then we can pass back and then recycle that play and come back in and attack. But obviously, if we're all back here, there's a couple of issues with that. There's no back pass, so potentially that 11 gets sort of swamped by the two or three defenders. They take the ball, and look how far they can run with the ball. All the way down into attacking position there. So that's the other reason we need to be right up there, is we can start defending from right up here. All right? So keep that in mind. Just follow, keep that shape, even as a central back defender. All right, if we scroll on down, a couple of more key points. There's not too many, not too many. All right, remember, where are we? I'll give you one of these booklets this week. Remember the left back on the left-hand side, but staying relatively central, because the left back, the right back, and the centre back are all extra goalkeepers. In defence, your job is to be an extra goalkeeper and block shots. Of course, you're not allowed to use your hands, but block shots using your body, your legs, your knees, etc., whatever you can. But that means that you're mostly in defence going to be fairly central, protecting the goal. All right, when the opposition has the ball, okay? In attack, as we said, you're following those mids, providing a back pass option, but also communication. Talk to your midfielder in front of you and let them know when they're under pressure. Man on, pass back. All right, that kind of thing. And as you start developing that communication, there's going to be a higher level of trust, because the pressure will come on and that player will be like, I should have really listened to my teammate there, because they were giving me really good information about the pressure coming. Had I listened, turned and passed back, that would have been a better option than not listening and turning into the pressure. You know, that kind of thing. So we're all there to help each other as a team. The right back, mostly on the right-hand side, mostly central, not really out on the wings. Sometimes you'll creep out on the wing. We'll discuss that in a later video as we start getting more technical. All right, and of course, centre back, right in the centre channel, okay? And following that centre mid as a back pass option, and also communicating, talking, being their eyes. It's really important that those three backs are using their eyes and their voice to communicate with the midfielders and give them more information, because often, and you'll know this, when we're on the ball, our eyes are down on the ball too sometimes, so we can't always get our eyes up to see what's in front of us, and we can never see really what's behind us very well, can we? We can turn over our shoulder, but it's quite difficult. So if you've got another set of eyes from the three backs, all looking forward, all talking to the midfielders, that's absolutely incredible information and really, really beneficial, okay? All right, we already discussed follow your mid, up and back. Protect your mid, we just discussed that too. Warn them when the defenders are closing in by yelling out loud and clear, man on, pass back. That kind of thing. Lots of communication is important. I've got here support your neighbours, okay? And that just means when someone near you has the ball, you're looking to be in open space and give them a passing option. Perfect, all right. And when we don't have the ball as a central back, you want to close. So if the opposition is coming down, they're already gotten behind the midline and they're coming towards you as a central defender. You want to close that space. So don't let them run too far. Push out, close that space, but then don't dive in and try and steal the ball straight away, because if it's a really, really good player, they'll just do a little shimmy, shimmy, shake, and you'll be beaten. I'm sure that's happened to all of us before. Okay, so instead of just diving in and potentially getting beaten, as a central defender, you're the last line of defence. So your job is not to dive in and try and win the ball, because that's really risky. If you get beaten and they're in behind you, they'll be shooting on goal. All right, so your job as a central defender, believe it or not, is not win the ball. It is to close that gap quickly and just put pressure on them and shadow them and block them from shooting on goal. All right, they will eventually make a mistake, the ball will spill out, and we'll play it back up to the mids. Okay? All right, so we call it jockeying. And that means like, just get in front of them, jockey, stay in front of them and try not to let them beat you. And one of the easiest ways to get beaten is by lunging in at the ball. All right, if they have really good ball control, they'll just zip around you. All right. And then we have guide them away from the goal. All right, so guide them away from the goal. So if you can sort of encourage them to go towards the sides or the sidelines so that their goal scoring opportunity is getting more and more difficult, that's great. Okay, absolutely great. And try not to let those attackers shoot. All right, you don't want to give them too much time, and that's where it comes to closing that gap quickly and then just sticking to them like glue. All right, you just want to pressure, 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 and just keep applying that pressure until that opposition player cracks and makes a mistake. The ball will spill to you or spill to one of our teammates, and we'll get back out of that danger zone. Okay? Okay, let me just jump over here to this soccer board, and I want to show you two patterns of play that would be worth memorizing for the central back position. All right, they're both fairly simple, and that is, if that 11 here comes under pressure and you're the number 3 or you're any of these central back positions, and you're calling out man on, pass back, okay, and that 11 thinks, great, I trust my teammate, turn my back, protect the ball, make a nice firm pass backwards, bang, boom. Okay, now what we want to do in this position is this should trigger the other two central backs to make a specific movement, all right? Because this is a great opportunity to switch play from the left-hand side where it's crowded with opposition defenders to the right-hand side where there might be few or not many opposition defenders. That's often the case because the opposition defenders will often all sort of crowd up where the ball is, all right? So when that ball comes back and you've got a bit of time and space, it might be a good opportunity to switch it and come down the other side for an attack. All right, so let me just show you, and we'll work on this at training as well, but let me show you the trigger points and the positioning for that particular play. So the 11's under pressure. With a loud, clear voice, you're number 3, for example, and you're saying, man on, pass back, I'm open. Great, pass back. Now that back pass there is a trigger for the centre back and the right back to make a movement, and that is, both of these should drop back about one line. All right, and we know that one line is about one school bus. So you're dropping back about one school bus behind the ball here, behind the possession of number 3. And the 2 doesn't need to drop back as far, but can drop back a little bit and come a little bit wide like so. All right. And then the ball, obviously the centre back here can be talking to the left back number 3. Yeah, switch. Bang, we come back. The 2's in position and gone wide, and we open up and we come back down this way to attack the goal from the other side where there's much, much less opposition defence. It's a really, really great play to switch the ball like that. So let's have a look what that looks like. Just imagine you're the 3 or the 6 or the 2, whichever one you like. In fact, you can imagine you're all 3 at different points in this particular play. The 11 receives the ball, 2 defenders come in, put the 11 under huge pressure. The 3 is loud and clear saying, man on, pass back. Perfect. The 11 turns their body, passes the ball back, and that triggers. As soon as that happens, the 6 and the 2 go, back pass, we know what's happening here. Drop back one school bus. And this 2 might have been up here, actually. They come wider and drop back a little bit to give themselves space and time. And then the ball can go from there to there. And then the 7's going to come wide here. Boom. And we in and attack that goal. Okay? So we'll work on that at training, and we'll try and add that to some of our game patterns. Now, secondly, the ball comes all the way down here, goes out for a goal kick. What I want you to do in that case, let's assume, we're all down here somewhere, all sort of a bit all over the shop, like that. The ball's gone out for a goal kick. The mids are, all chasing back too. The forwards, of course, don't go too far back over the halfway line. We'll talk about that in a later video. All right, so we're all sort of there, all a bit crowded around the goal there, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. Great, the goalkeeper gets that ball. Again, as soon as it's a goal kick, this should be a trigger for the three backs to get in position. All right, and that is these two backs, the right and left back, go short and wide, facing forwards. The reason we're facing forwards is so you can see all the opposition pressure and where it's at. Okay, that's important. All right, so you're basically back maybe a metre or two from the goal line here. Nice and wide, ready, and the sixes are central here, or the centre back is just in front of the goal there. And that ball can then go wide. Our mid can then push out, right out to the sideline there, and we should be able to find a ball there. Or, if we can't find that mid, then the centre mid's going to drop in here, okay? So you've got a passing option here, here, and in actual fact, the 6 should drop in as a safety there as well. All right, so let me just run through that again. All right, so we're all back here protecting the goal. Maybe the 7's back too, and the 8 and the 11 mids are staying holding that midline, yeah? We always want at least 2 holding that midline, ready to transition on the attack. Ball goes out for a goal kick. Perfect. This mid will come wide. That mid will also generally go wide. And the 2 left and right backs go short and wide, looking for the short pass. 6 comes central, 8 comes central. Something like that, okay? The ball comes out here. Boom, comes out to the 2. And again, this is a trigger, particularly for the 2 other backs. The 6 should come and offer a safety short option here, drop back. And the 3 should push over just in case we lose the ball. They're ready to defend the goal. All right, if you're all the way out here and we lose the ball, we can't really defend the goal, can we? So you see those 2 triggers? So our initial positions look a bit like this. All right, short and wide for the right and left backs facing forward. The ball comes out and that triggers the 6 to drop behind and the 3 to come in. All right, and then the 2's looking for the wide pass to the 7. If that's not on, maybe the 8's creeping in here through there. If that's not on, we can go to the 6, potentially fire a long ball out to the 11 or just put a big clearance kick in. All right? So they're the 2 patterns that hopefully by the end of the year we will understand. The back pass and switch sides, and then that goal kick pattern as well. We'll practice those at training and we'll see if we can put them into our game play. All right? If you got this far, well done for watching right through to the end, and I'll see you at training. Bye for now.